Hey, Assalamu alaikum and welcome to another session of Inspired by Faith and Science, which is supported by British Science Association, UK Research and Innovation, Foundation for Digital Creativity. And I think we should give a special thanks to BAE Systems for allowing Khadijah to join us today as well. Thank you, BAE as well. So today's session is all about the world of aerospace and engineering. So in the UK, there's been over a decade worth of investments challenging the perception of how engineering is perceived as something that's only for the boys. One of the most recent research conducted by Engineering UK has found that these investments have had a positive impact, and this perception is beginning to shift. But along with this research, the research has also discovered many other underlying factors that are preventing not only girls but boys also from pursuing careers in engineering. And I'm hoping from today's session we can pick up on these points with our guest. So our guest today, I'm actually very intrigued to find out how our guest, she's the eldest sibling, she's also a British Indian Muslim, and a girl also, how she has gone on to pursue a career in aerospace engineering. So we have Khadijah Ismail joining us today, engineering degree apprentice with BAE Systems at Lancaster University. But before we go to Khadijah, I'm going to request our youth worker, Hafiz Dewan, to introduce our participants, please.
Assalamu alaikum, guys. I'm truly inspired. We had a brief chat just before we went live and just found out that Khadijah is not only a highly qualified professional in science, but she also has a very good connection with the Quran and just Islam, which is amazing because like we mentioned yesterday, we tend to lose our roots, our faith while pursuing worldly matters, but it seems that Khadijah's got a balance of both the world and deen as well. As before we introduce our guest speaker, I'm going to ask our participants to introduce themselves and then also mention, since we're doing something on BAE system. First, when I saw that message, I'm not into all this lingo and the use stuff, but I'm pretty sure BAE is one of the terms used when it's like I don't know, BAE is like your partner or something, or one of these teams. I think Umar's smiling, so Umar can, maybe I'm gonna start with Umar. You can explain to us what BAE means other than away from science. So Umar, do you want to introduce yourself and then mention where you'd like to fly to if you have the chance right now?
Assalamu alaikum, my name is Umar Hamza. I'm in year 8, I'm 13, and if I was to fly somewhere right now, because yesterday I said that, or the other day I said that I'd want to go to Palestine, I'd just go to Palestine now, if I had the chance.
MashaAllah, amazing. What does BAE mean, BAE? I said, you're my BAE.
Sorry, so BAE, that's the British Aero Engineering, I believe. Khadijah, can you confirm that one, please?
Yeah, so it's British Aerospace, but in I guess roadman terms, lingo, it's kind of like a partner you said. But yeah, I don't think many people know about that, but BAE is British Aerospace Systems.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Umar, you're not my BAE. You wish you were, but we'll let that go. Right, Zara.
Assalamu alaikum, my name is Zara and I'm 12 years old, and if I would fly somewhere, it will be Saudi Arabia, because I'm like, since coronavirus, I would have wanted to go on 6 weeks holiday to Saudi Arabia, so I would have wanted to go there right now.
MashaAllah, may Allah take us there. At the moment, it seems that Allah's limited his guests at the moment, so hopefully we'll be one of them very soon. Let's go to Mahmoud. Is that someone new? Or is that Hassan?
It's Hassan.
He's a penalty scorer.
Oh, he's the penalty scorer, mashallah, Mubarak. Hassan, I've got your video, I'll send it to you later. We saw the video, but you were there. But Hassan, can you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, my name is Hassan. I'm in 9, and I'd like to go to anywhere. I don't mind anywhere.
But one place, if I put you down and pinned you down and said you could only go to one place, where would you
go? Saudi.
MashaAllah. No, congratulations. That penalty was awesome. And I've got your video. I'll send it you later. Tahir?
Assalamu alaikum. My name's Tahir. I'm 15 years old and I'd probably like to go Maldives.
MashaAllah. Sumaya Rania?
I'm Rania, I'm 13 years old, and I'd also like to go to Saudi Arabia, but I wouldn't mind Dubai, and I've been Bangladesh as well.
Hi, I'm Sumaya. I'm 9 years old, and if I could pick one place to go, I'd go.
Any place. Anyway, you could go anywhere in Europe, Disneyland, anywhere.
Yeah. Okay, France.
France, mashallah. And mashallah, you're smashing out those hijabs, different color every day. You're looking much amazing. You're cranking Rani's style, mashallah. Nabil?
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Nabil. I'm 13. Probably go Dubai.
Dubai. Live the luxurious life. Yahya, are you there? Or are you still lagging from?
No, I'm fine. My name's Yahya, and wait, do we have to? Are we allowed to pick any like place or
anyway? You can go to your auntie's house. Anywhere.
Okay, I'd probably go to Egypt because that's where most of my family are.
Jahid?
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Jahid. I'm 14, and I'll probably go to Tokyo because I can say wow, subhanallah, everything.
Yeah, Tokyo, isn't it? Tokyo is amazing. Sahel?
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Sahil, and well, all of mine been took. But if everyone just said Saudi Arabia, but I'm going to be specific, and I'll say I want to go Saudi Arabia and go to Medina so I can see the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's grave.
Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. MashaAllah. Smashed it. Saeed Sabir, MashaAllah, you got the lights on again. You're having a disco, yeah?
Nah, my name is Sabir. I'm in year 9. I'm 14, and I'd go Bangladesh because I've never been.
Oh no, you haven't. Wow.
My little brother went, but I never.
Your uncles and I believe your uncle did. They love Bangladesh. I'm surprised you've not gone yet.
His little brother came with me.
All right, okay. Shohana Sumaya.
Hi, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Sumaya. I'm in year 9, and I have like 3 places I'd go if I could fly anywhere. One of them would be like most commonly Saudi Arabia. Number 2 would be Antarctica because why not? And number 3 would be if you could fly anywhere, Jupiter to get some diamonds.
Wow. Okay. Shohana.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Shahana. I'm in year 7, and places I'd fly to is Saudi Arabia, Tokyo, and Mars.
Wow. So you both want to go to different planets, yeah? Awesome. I remember I've not given a budget, so you can go anywhere. Who have I missed? Who have I got left? I think that's everybody's in it. No, Zara, did I come to you? I've already come to you. Okay. Right, Labib.
We might as well do Labib as well.
Okay.
If I was flying anywhere, I'd probably go to one of the poles. Like, who else can say they've done that? Good conversation start. Have you been to the North Pole? Yeah, I have.
All right, yeah. That's true. Something unique. Faisal, where would you go?
It's a good question. Where would I go? Look forward to going to Bangladesh. We were planning to go to Bangladesh this summer, but because Bangladesh is in the red list, we haven't been able to go. And that's the truth, really. From Bangladesh, we probably would go for Umrah.
Sorry.
MashaAllah. You know, I'd actually go to Istanbul in Turkey. That's one of my favorite places. Yeah, it just if there's certain parts of Istanbul that feel like Saudi Arabia, like so religious, so calm, so peaceful. But let's go to our main guest. Like we mentioned, it's been quite difficult to get this highly skilled and mashallah, just all-round guest. So the floor is yours, Khadijah. Over to you.
Okay, assalamu alaikum everybody. I'm Khadijah. I'm 22. And if I was to pick somewhere to go right now, it would be to go to Tokyo to watch the Olympics. And if I had to choose somewhere that I would really like to go after that, it would be Saudi Arabia again, just go for Hajj because I've never been. And also Malawi. So I'd like to know where my grandparents grew up in Malawi and where they lived and the villages. I'd really love to go and see that. So yeah, Okay, so I'm going to present a bit of a presentation, and hang on, let me just present. So with this presentation, I'd really like it to be an interactive one. So I want you guys to ask questions throughout. If you're, if you're stuck, anything, any questions, just feel free to ask. And I put this picture up because recently this year I had the opportunity to meet the Prime Minister, and he came over to work, and I did a little bit of a tour of this equipment that I'm pointing to at the moment. And I've put it up because, it's somebody's raised their hand. Also, yeah, if you've got any questions, just feel free to unmute yourselves, because I'm not gonna, I can't see the chat function. So if any questions, just unmute, ask a question, and I'll answer. So it's why I put this picture up is because it's been one of the highlights, I think, of this year, especially in coronavirus and working from home. It was a really nice opportunity for me to do something, and also for our community to kind of, put Muslims on the map. So I'm 22, I'm from Bolton, I'm the eldest sibling, and I got into engineering, or I got into engineering when I was in year 11. So throughout year 7 to year 11, I didn't know what I wanted to do or anything like that. And I tried to, I found that I really loved maths, really loved physics. And the thing is, I just didn't know to pinpoint specifically what I liked. And I guess from everybody that I can see on screen at the moment, who's interested in engineering, or who knows what they want to be in the future? I can't see, but if people raise their hands, I'll be able to see that. Come on, tell me if.
Or you can unmute yourself and say
yes.
Yeah,
let me know. Yeah, unmute yourself and tell me what do you want to be in the future, or are you interested in engineering?
So many jobs I want to do because there's different things that I like about different jobs. So
okay.
I don't really know yet.
Okay, no, that's completely fine. Is there anybody that specifically wants to go into engineering? And it's okay if not.
I'm now I wanted to be a maths teacher, but now I'm 70% wanting to be an engineer. But
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really good to hear. Okay, so with this presentation, I'm going to give you a little bit of pointers as well if you're interested in engineering. And then what we'll do is we'll go through a little bit of an activity, like a brainstorm session together. So when I was in year 11, I didn't know what I liked to do, and I put this little bit of a robot on screen because it was the first time I built something. It's missing a leg because I wasn't really good at building things at the time, and I made this with my friend. And what happened is we applied for this scholarship, and Zara, write this name down. It's called the Arkwright Engineering Scholarship. It's something definitely to look into when you get to year 11 to apply for. And what they do is they give you funding, they give you money to go out and buy loads of components and chips, and you can make loads of things, buy loads of books, go on loads of courses. So definitely look into that. So it was in year 11 where I decided I really love engineering, but I didn't know what type, because there's so many different types of engineering. There's civil, there's mechanical, there's aerospace, so many different ones, and I didn't know which one to choose. Now, some people, when they decide that they're interested in engineering, go to university to study a general engineering course, but I decided, I really liked planes. Every time a plane used to fly in the sky, I used to get really excited. And I remember this one time I actually wrote a letter to Manchester Airport. I found this funny. It was when I was a kid, so I didn't know much about how aircraft flew or anything like that. But I asked them to make more planes fly past my house. And they replied back and they said, really sorry, because of air traffic control and the way we organise aircraft in the air, we can't make them fly past your house, but these are a list of air shows that you can go to. And because I just really loved watching planes fly in the sky, I just decided, I'm going to go and study aerospace engineering. But at that time, this is when I was in college, so this was after I studied my A-levels, or during, it was time to apply for university. And with university, I didn't want to take on the student debt because I didn't want to pay interest on the loan. Because, obviously in Islam, interest, it's not allowed. So I thought, well, what else can I do? What's the alternative? Because I don't really want to go to university for that reason. So I started to look into apprenticeships. Now, who here knows what an apprenticeship is?
Is it when it's when you work with somebody to learn about like some of your job?
Yes, yeah, exactly that. So what an apprenticeship is you're learning on the job. So you're learning about engineering and your aircraft on the job. So that's what I applied for. And what they ended up doing was sponsoring my degree. So this is something I think all of you should look into when you get into college, definitely 100%. Whether that's, forget engineering for now, if you want to go into finance, if you like, if you want to do accounting, and I know it's a little bit early for you guys to know what you want to do, but when you get to college, definitely think about degree apprenticeships, because what the company will do, and you just Google degree apprenticeships in let's just say fashion, degree apprenticeship in engineering, degree apprenticeships in languages, whatever. Just Google it and see what comes up, because there will be loads of companies that will fund your degrees for you. So then you don't have to pay your student debt and you get paid on top of that. So, if there's one thing you take away from this session, don't forget when you get into college to look into apprenticeships, okay? So that's what I did. So I applied for a degree apprenticeship in aerospace engineering. And when I got that degree apprenticeship, it meant that I was paired with the University of Lancaster. So what that meant is 5 days a week. So I work 4 days at work and 1 day a week is for uni. So I was studying and learning at the same time. So everything I'm learning at uni, I'm able to apply at work and vice versa. So it's a really, really good opportunity for me. And also you don't have any student debt and you're not paying any interest. So that was my main motivator. So, if you guys think about, wanting to stay away from interest and things, Allah will always open up different opportunities and avenues for you. Okay, so at the moment, I'm in my
Can I ask
fourth
a question quickly?
year. Yeah.
When you were saying about the apprenticeship, what did you learn exactly in aerospace engineering? At least one thing.
So in aerospace engineering is all about the study of aircraft, and not just aircraft within Earth's atmosphere, but aircraft outside of Earth's atmosphere as well. So space aircraft, rockets and things like that. So, when some people will talk about aeronautical engineering and some people will talk about aerospace engineering. So the difference between those two is that aerospace engineering looks at aircraft in space as well. So in terms of what I've studied in uni currently, my modules, there'll be things like, for example, engineering safety, so aircraft engineering safety, maths, all the equations, the lift equations, for example, what lifts an aircraft, and what are the sorts of calculations needed to lift an aircraft. Then we've got modules on fuel systems, so what type of fuel systems are needed for aircraft, aerodynamics. So F1 cars, F1 cars, how they're able to be so aerodynamic and smooth, that sort of design, but for aircraft as well. So how can we make the airflow over an aircraft be really smooth so it can travel faster for longer? Different modules such as electronic systems. So within an aircraft, you've got the outside, so you've got the materials, you've got the structure, so you've got airframe structures, so that's just something we've studied, so aircraft materials, aircraft structures. But then you've also got the inside, where in the cockpit, where you've got all the controls, electronic systems, so that's a module. Then you've got the fuel that runs the aircraft, so that's a module. And then you've got, for example, the tires, for example. So there's so many different aspects of an aircraft, and those are the sorts of modules that we study. Did that answer your question?
Yes, it did.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, and then so the next bit as well is also space. So then we always have to work out kind of, in space aircraft, for example, will perform a little bit differently because the atmosphere in space is different. So those are the sorts of things we've studied so far. And we've also done a module, actually, very interestingly, on aircraft accidents and investigations. So it's really important to learn from the past and learn from history of, what went wrong in the past, what happened in the past, that we can make sure that it doesn't happen again. So we also learn about aircraft investigations and accidents, and also there are modules about human factors. So for example, what a pilot wears, if they're traveling really fast, sensors that can test the blink rate of a pilot, because when you get tired, you'll start to blink a little bit more. So these sensors can test when a pilot's getting tired, and it's able to tell the pilot that you're getting tired, okay, it's time to land, it's time to make a stop, things like that. So that module is called human factors. So many aspects of engineering that plays into aerospace. So I really enjoy it. I think it's something that if you do like maths and physics, you'll enjoy as well. So right now, on my degree apprenticeship, I'm in my 4th year, and I'm in a placement at the moment. If I tell you a quick whistle-stop tour of what I've done over 4 years, I started off in 2017. I walked into an office for the first time, and I just didn't know what was going on. I've never been in an office before. You know, I just honestly I didn't know anything, and you know, I wasn't really confident. Sometimes people would ring me, and I never used to like answering the phone, things like that. So my first placement was all about mission systems. So it was all about kind of flights that pilots go on. So, you know, where are pilots going to fly? How are they going to refuel? Where are they going to stop? You know, are there any tall cranes in the sky, you know, that the pilots need to be aware of? And then all the data from that flight used to get downloaded and come to our team. So that's one placement that I did, and was analysing all that data. Another placement I've had was all about virtual reality. So, you know those, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but you know when you wear those like virtual reality goggles and you can see 3D? So one of the good things about this sort of equipment is that nowadays you can design an aircraft on software, and you can view it in these 3D modelling type softwares, instead of trying to build it and it failing, if that makes sense. So it's a really cheap way, or cheaper way, of building and designing aircraft. So that was that placement, and it was, you know, building things on software, 3D, viewing them, seeing if it would work. So I really enjoyed that placement. I found out, and I think this is really important for you guys to know, is that I found out that I wasn't good at the design side of it. So I wasn't good at designing 3D things. You know, my brain just couldn't work like that. And it doesn't mean that just because you're not good at one thing, doesn't mean that, you know, you just scrap off the whole engineering course. So, you know, some things I've learned during my 4 years that I've been working is that some things I'm just not good at. And it's hard to swallow, but it's really good in identifying, you know, there are things you're good at and there are things you're not good at. And, you know, if you work harder and try harder, then you might like it. If you don't like it, it's okay. If you don't like certain things, it's okay, and you can just move on to the next placement. So that's what I did. And then I joined, so then I moved down south actually for a year to join a team that built a drone satellite. So drones, you guys know what drones are, right? They're little ones that fly in the sky. So this one is unmanned. So that means a pilot's not flying it. He's not in the drone. He's not in the aircraft. It's just it's by itself. It's remote controlled. So that team was trying to get a drone satellite into the edge of space, into the stratosphere. So I really enjoyed that placement because it was a small team, and I was working on the solar panels. So because it was going to be charged and powered by the sun. So that placement was really good. And then I came back up to Bolton, and then I joined a team that was research and tech. So that was researching, you know, a lot of future technology for future aircraft. And now I'm working in a team that is maintaining aircraft. So once you've built an aircraft, you have to support it and you have to maintain it. So after you've built it, so the way you build an aircraft is different to the way you maintain an aircraft. Because, for example, let's say you build an aircraft, and let's say, for example, there's a hole in the window, for example. Yeah. So then the repairs and the maintenance team have to come in to repair that aircraft rather than rebuild the full aircraft. So that's the team I'm working in at the moment. And that's where I am now. So we'll see where, you know, the future takes me. But at the moment, that's where I am. And that's a little bit about me. Anybody got any questions so far?
How many teams have you been in throughout your journey?
I've been in probably 5 or 6 teams. And each team is like a different job. So, you know, you get a lot of experience. And if you think about engineering, right? So let's think about how you come up with an idea in your head. So when you come up with an idea, let's say, Zara, for example, you want to think of an idea about, let's say, designing a new aircraft, for example. So what you do is you'd come up with a concept. You'd come up with an idea of, you know, I've got this idea. This is how I want to design an aircraft. But then there's an engineering life cycle. So how do you get that idea into something that you can touch and that you can hold? So that's what the engineering life cycle is you come up with an idea, then you decide, is that idea a good idea? What are the benefits? What are the pros? What are the cons? How much is it going to cost? Who do we need to speak to help us build it? Then you build the aircraft. So then you do all the manufacturing of the aircraft. And once you've built it, then you think, okay, well, who's going to buy this aircraft? Because we need to make money on this aircraft and we need to sell it. So then you'd sell the aircraft and you'd make money on it. And then let's say, you know, for example, you know, when you have to scrap cars because they don't work anymore, sometimes you have to do that to aircraft. You have to scrap aircraft because they don't work anymore. So then you have to decommission the aircraft and you're like, okay, well, you know, this aircraft's not going to work anymore. What shall we do with the material? What shall we do with the parts? So that's the engineering life cycle. You've got a concept. You've decided this is the design I'm going to go through. This is the concept. This is how I'm going to support it. How I'm going to build it. Okay, now it's not working. It's end of life. Now we're going to decommission it, and that's what the engineering life cycle is. So that's just a quick overview of the engineering life cycle. Now I thought something that we could do today was to design or discuss how to design a future aircraft. So first question, I guess, is who's been on a plane?
Me.
I have.
Okay. Okay, so that's good. Good. So, so you kind of know what an aircraft looks like in terms of what it looks like inside, you know, all the seats and things like that. So what did you not like about the flight? Let's start with that. What did you not like about being on a plane?
The landing.
Yeah, it hurts your ears.
Turbulence.
Why it's crowded.
Okay, somebody make a note of these because actually I'll try and remember these as well, because when we design ours we'll try and think of the problems that exist now and then we can try and discuss how we could fix them in the future. So we had landing, so we had hurts your ears, so pressure changes. What were the other ones?
Food,
okay, that's a good one. Food. What else?
The fact or the windows, you get to sometimes imagine it's a hot day and you get too much light in, and of course there's windows, but sometimes the light goes through the windows.
Okay, so too much light. Should we go with those for now? We'll stick with those, and then we'll try and see if we can do anything with them. Okay, so next question. Oh, Alia, you've raised your hand. Do you have a question?
To answer Zara's question, the plane which I went on, there was like these little buttons which would make like the window thing darker, like a dark blue, and it would like not let the light in.
Okay. Yes. Well, let's think about that one as well. Let's add that one, because if it exists now, it's something that we can add into our future aircraft as well. So, to help with the lighting. Okay. Any more questions? Okay. Next question is, what does sustainability mean for you?
Oh, durable.
stay for longer and it doesn't get damaged.
Okay. What else? Durability. Anything else?
That like it suits your preferences.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
able to be damaged.
these are all valid answers. Yep. What sustainability means to me
Is it?
Go on. No, go on. Go.
Is it like being like maintained?
Maintained in a sustainable way. Yes. So what sustainability means to me is, compared to how we build aircraft now, it's building aircraft in a different way to do the same job in a way that doesn't damage the environment, and doesn't affect and environmentally impact the environment. So, for example, every time a car drives, you know, we are all emitting carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, which is very harmful for the atmosphere. And you guys know about global warming, right? And how that's really dangerous. So every time a car, you know, every time a car drives, every time a plane flies, all these fumes are being emitted. So that's, to me, sustainability is trying to reduce that or trying to stop that. Okay? Now, what we're going to do, or the task, is we're going to discuss how to design an aircraft that can operate without the use of fossil fuels. Now, who can tell me why fossil fuels are bad for the environment?
Is it because of pollution and it makes
Yeah. So name me some fossil fuels that we use at the moment in the world.
Petrol.
Yeah. Yep.
Coal.
Yep. Oil. Yep. All these things are all bad for the environment. But all these things are used as fuel, right? So we see a problem here. So we're using fossil fuels to power aircraft, which is not good for the future. So this next slide is about renewable energy, and I've just put in here the difference between non-renewables and renewable energy. Now, can somebody tell me why renewable energy is good for Earth?
Because afterwards, it's not like straight away. You can recycle it, kind of.
Yeah. So that's a really good answer. So it's not harmful. It's sustainable, and it's using Earth's natural resources as fuel. So what I want to do with you guys today is to find out how we can use these types of energies, so solar panels, for example, water, wind, how we can use those renewable energies to power and design our aircraft of the future. So these are a couple of aircraft examples at the moment. So, for example, we've got helicopters, we've got hot air balloons, we've got, these weird shapes here. We've got normal, passenger aircraft. We've got people flying like this. So these are all the different types of shapes of aircraft that exist at the moment. And I thought we could look at kind of how to design a future aircraft. Now it's up to us. I think the first thing we could look at is, why are we building a future aircraft? So a purpose. So let's think of why we need this aircraft. So we've got different reasons. We could say that we want people to go on holiday, for example. We want to transport loads of goods, or ship lots of things. We want to, do you know what I mean? We want a drone to fly. So what do we want this aircraft to do? Let's have a think. I'll write it down.
It could just give passengers to another country, but in a short time.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds good.
And
so
that pressure change, that is no pressure changes when you're in the air. They can do something about that.
Okay, so number one was take people from A to B in a shorter time. Yeah. The next one was Shahana, you've raised your hand. Just give me 1 sec, and I'll come back to you guys. So the next one was about pressure. So this is the thing about pressure, and this is something that I would say that we can't do anything about, because pressure is, we'll put a question mark here. Pressure exists. So how an aircraft flies is the difference in pressure between underneath an aircraft and above the aircraft. So we're always going to have a pressure problem, but what we can look at is the pressure inside a cabin. Yeah, so inside the aircraft we can look at. So let's think about that. Shahana Sumaya, you raised your hand. Did you have a point?
Something that we can use for fuel is natural gas, and something we can work on is if there was a fire on board, how would we stop it?
Okay, so safety. I'll put that as safety, yeah? So safety concerns. One thing I'd like to... Oh, I spelled that wrong. Concerns.
You could carry supplies and food.
Supplies, food, okay. So if I put supplies... Oh, hang on. My writing is really messy, okay? Supplies, food. I'm going to go on the next slide.
Animals as well.
Make it easier and cheaper.
Okay, so we've got, hang on, my tablet is playing up today. Okay, animals, and then we've got easier and cheaper. One thing I was thinking was materials. So what type of material is used? So this one, for example, could be linked into materials. And then also the fuel, so the fuel system, the engines. So what could we do about the fact that we use fuel on aircraft? So let's do fuel. Okay, great. So we've got a couple of things there that we'd like to consider. Now, if we start with, let's see, right, so we want to take people from A to B in a shorter amount of time. So let's say, for example, we want to go from London to Manchester. So let's do a domestic flight, okay? We want to go from London to Manchester, and I don't know how long it takes, but let's just say we want it to be an hour quicker, for example. So what are the things that if we want to make an aircraft faster, what are the things that we'd need to look at?
The speed.
Engine.
Yes, engine and speed.
Aerodynamics.
Okay. Aerodynamics. Okay, so aircraft efficiency. Let's call it efficiency. We would have to look at speed. Yep. So that's how fast an engine is traveling, which is linked to the engine. Yeah. We would have to look at what else?
The aerodynamics.
Aerodynamics.
The speed, but if not too like the speed not too fast that like for safety reasons. So,
yep. Okay. So if I just put here
That it's not too heavy that falls out the sky.
Yep. Yep. So I've put aerodynamics. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to link aerodynamics to material and shape. Okay? Because aerodynamics does really depend on the structure and the shape. So materials and shape. And also we want it to be for some reason my tablet doesn't go to that side of okay, never mind. We want it to be cheaper than the cost of a flight now, yeah? So we want it to be cheaper on cost. Now there's this something that we have to think about is that we always have to compromise. So we could have the best solution, which is very expensive. Yeah. We can have the worst solution, which is the cheapest. Yeah. Or we can go for an in-between. Yeah, I'm just typing. Or we can go for an in-between solution, which is kind of good at the job, but it's also not, it's in between, it's not very cheap, but it's not very expensive, okay? So this is something that I think is really interesting for you guys to know, is that when you guys study engineering, or when you go in the future, on solutions and things like that, studying solutions and problems, looking at problems, you will always have a solution that is very expensive, that, solves every single problem, but is very, very expensive. And then you can have a really bad solution that doesn't really solve all the problems and doesn't really do the job that you want it to do. So one thing that you'll have to look at in the future for solving your problems is how can we compromise on cost, and how can we compromise on does it do the job. So when we think about does it do the job, we really need to prioritize what problems we think are the most important to solve, to then solve that problem and then compromise on cost. Did that make sense to you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So in between, so for an in-between solution, we would need to prioritize. Oh, why does it stop working? This is my second time using this tablet, so it's my writing's really bad. For some reason it's... Oh, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, for some reason it stopped. So we'll talk through it instead. Okay. Yeah, my mouse has stopped me. This happened to me before as well. I'll give it a second. My mouse is. Can you see it lagging on the screen, or is that just me?
It's just frozen your actual presentation.
Has it? Okay. I think we might have to go on without the. Oh, that's really annoying. Anyway, okay. So with all the problems that we came up with, what do you think is the most important problem to solve? Also, you guys have all frozen on screen as well, so I'm just wondering if you guys can still hear me.
Yeah, I can still hear you.
From our side, Khadijah, we can see and hear you clearly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, we can.
We can hear you and see you.
Okay, that's good. For some reason, I can't see you guys or hear you guys, so.
No, I can't see you.
Yeah.
You're frozen now.
You're frozen on my screen, but I can see everyone else.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. Let's just try and work with it. But yeah, really sorry about that. Okay. So what do you think is the biggest problem? So for me, the biggest problem is the.
I can't hear anything.
Khadijah,
Just call.
You're gonna shut it down and then get it back on again. We'll do something while you're gone, possibly.
Yeah. Okay. For some reason, I can't click anything on my screen. It's just not.
Maybe do a full shutdown of your laptop and then put it back on.
Okay. Yeah. I'll try that now.
Okay, no problem.
Okay. Sorry about that.
No problem. While we wait, what are your plans for the summer holiday, guys? Zara, what's your plans for the summer holidays?
We usually would have gone to Newcastle, but we've got a wedding in the middle of the holidays.
Who's getting married? Sahil get married?
No, it's my it's my fufu, and it's like my last fufu to get married, so it's an important one.
Oh, mashallah, wow, amazing. Sahil, I'm guessing you do the same?
Yeah, I got school from tomorrow.
School?
Yeah.
You see me tomorrow.
Yeah, his class. Yeah, his class. Yeah.
Is in the boys' school?
Yeah, 10 to 1.
Wow, mashallah. Which ustad is that with?
I don't know.
All
It's just
his teachers.
all his teachers. I think.
Right.
We're gonna find out tomorrow anyway. So this week, next week and the week after.
Okay. Rani, Sumaya, you got your hands up. You can tell us what you're plans for summer?
It's my birthday on Tuesday, and then tomorrow we're going to this place called Lucky's, and then on Tuesday I'm gonna go to my auntie's house. It's my birthday, because my dad's going to a wedding in Sheffield, so we thought we might as well just go to my auntie's house.
MashaAllah, that's nice. I'll just put in before. I think.
Oh, that's amazing, mashallah. Sorry, myself. Someone's come past. They start talking. They're gonna say,
Ivan's running now. Finally, you're not on the pitch, but at home.
How old are you gonna be, Sumaya?
10.
Big 10. How are you feeling? Do you feel old? Do you feel like a Buddha bit yet?
No.
You get to that age, your knees gonna start hurting, your back's gonna start hurting. So get ready. The big 10. No, I'm only joking. Still young, mashallah. Hassan, right? While we wait, let's show. Oh no, my phone's downstairs. But Hassan, your goal, mashallah, was a very good goal. What are your plans over the summer?
I'm not sure yet. Don't know.
Just chill. Just catch up on sleep. Late nights and sleep, isn't it?
Play football.
Football as well, yeah. Aliyah, you finally come on today, Aliyah. No, you never forgot this time.
Yeah, I didn't forget, but I was late.
No problem, that's fine. What's your plans you went to Newcastle last week? What are your plans over the summer?
I think I'm gonna go stay over at my cousin's house like towards the end of August.
In Newcastle?
No, in Bradford.
Pakistan, nice. Jahid?
Honestly, I don't even know. I've not planned anything. I'm just gonna go with the flow.
That's the best way. You know, those are the best holidays. So when you go with the flow and you've got nothing planned, no stress, just when it pops up, a tournament here, a tournament there. I heard you were in a tournament last week as well. You're smashing it.
Quarterfinals as well.
Quarterfinals. You know what? You're so close in the quarterfinals today with the youngest team. Oh yes, I think he's back. Khadijah, back
Yeah,
to you.
sorry about that. I've actually lost my presentation, so I've lost all the notes because I did a restart. So sorry about that. But I thought we could quickly just finish off. So okay, so what we had was a couple of things that we found were problems. So now we want to prioritize those problems. Yeah. So what do you think is the most important one? For me, it's the fuel system. What is the most important problem to you guys?
Yeah, because we're wasting a lot of thingies, and I think because of the fuel system.
Yeah, okay. So I know some people mentioned things like food, for example. So just if when we come up with solutions, when we think about the problems that exist, we always have to prioritize them, yeah? So when we come to design, so we have to prioritize which one's the most important. So if we think about food, for example, and we think about the fuel system, for me, I think the fuel system would be more important because if we fix that problem first, then we can look at the food. Does that make sense? Yeah? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's think about a fuel system. So what we have is we have jet fuel. So that's something like kerosene, for example. Something called kerosene, which is jet fuel. And it's a little bit like diesel, a little bit like petrol. And what you do is just how you fill up a car, you fill up your aircraft in the same way. So what we were looking at before were the renewable energy. So we had solar, we had wind, we had water, we had lots of things. So just off the top of your head, how do you think we could use those renewable energies to power our aircraft rather than fuel?
Less pollution first.
Sorry, go on. Go on, Sahil, and then Zara. Sahil and then Zara.
So I think it'll be less pollution first things first, and so it'll be less pollution. So when we you said obviously how it'll be more useful. So if you use reusable, it'll be less pollution, so the world will have less global warming, so it'll be better for the world, and you can still get to that destination. It'll be exactly the same but less pollution, which is a lot better.
Yes, amazing. I really like that, and I really like that. But okay, sorry, you were saying you had something to say.
So like we could put on aeroplanes on the top of it. So how we in front of our house we have like solar panels on the houses. So if you put it on the aeroplanes, because most of the time it's sunny and it's so much more easier. At first it's going to be probably expensive for the solar panels, but afterwards all the good stuff afterwards, you don't need to pay for it. It's just the sun. So I think that's a good thing to use solar panels.
So I think that's a really, really good idea. If somebody wanted to say something. Is it Jahid? Sorry, you had your hand.
Yeah. But I kind of disagree with that, Zara, only because let's say the sun's there, then the clouds block it, or there's rain and thunder and all like that. Right? Naturally, that can happen in air. That's air turbulence. So that solar panel idea probably won't work.
But then again, Jahid, if you think about it, you can just still store fuel in there, and then when the solar panels, you're going into the cloud or something's going to happen, 5 minutes earlier, turn the fuel on, and then it'll still be fine. So it'll save money. You'll actually lose less.
That's a good idea.
I agree with Zara.
I really like that discussion. Okay, so I'm going to touch on Zara's point, I'm going to touch on Jahid's point, and then I'm going to touch on Sahil's point, okay? So Zara's point about solar panels in front of your house, for example, is a really, really good idea to put on aircraft. And actually, currently, some aircraft do have solar panels on the actual surface. So that project, remember that team that I worked with down south that were making this drone satellite? I'll go on Google quickly and show you a picture of it afterwards. But they put solar panels on the actual structure. So I was actually responsible for putting the solar panels on the aircraft. So very good idea, very good. Really like it. It would work because I've been in a team that's made it work. So it's a very good point. Jahid's point is also a very good consideration of that. If it's raining, if there's thunder, if there's loads of different types of weather, how is the solar panel, how is it going to be waterproofed? Yeah, I think that's what we want to talk about, is that it won't work because it's not waterproof. Yeah, do you think that's a fair thing to say?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah? Okay, so we've established that solar panels is a really good solution to put on aircraft. But then the problem we have with that Okay, I'll come to you in 1 second. The problem we have with that is that it's not waterproof. So what if we could waterproof the solar panels on the aircraft? That would work, wouldn't it? So if we put all the solar panels on the aircraft, then we had a waterproof solution that goes onto the aircraft. So you lay up different materials, different waterproof materials on top of the aircraft. That would work. Because I've worked in a team that's done that. And then Sahil's point, and I know you've got a couple of raised hands, Sahil's point is that you can also use a fuel system incorporated with the solar panels. And I really, really like that idea because, you know, cars at the moment, hybrid, you know, when you say hybrid cars, they get charged, but they also use fuel at the same time. Yeah. So basically all 3 points I think have been amazing. And I'm really, really happy that you guys have been interactive with that point. Okay, 3 raised hands. Let's go with Mohammed Rahman.
Yeah, couldn't you know how you have like Teslas that are fully electric, can't you just charge batteries to power turbines which can generate lift in the first place?
Amazing. Very good idea. So let's add that to the list. Okay, so we've got solar panels, we've got waterproof material on top of the solar panels, just in case we've got weather problems. Then we've got a hybrid solution with this solar panel, just in case the solar panels decide not to work, we've got a backup solution of fuel. And then those solar panels can charge the batteries. So the power you collect from the sun, for example, because it's charging from the sun, is a way of using that power to charge some batteries that you put in the aircraft. Yeah.
You can also just charge the batteries externally, like outside of the plane.
You can also charge the batteries externally, but we would really like these batteries to be rechargeable. For example, for our design, let's have rechargeable batteries because why not? And then we'd have a couple of motors on this aircraft, let's say, for example. So we want the batteries to charge something up. So let's charge some motors up. And when the motors go around and around and around, instead of having an engine, we've got motors that you use as propellers and that will lift the aircraft. So that's a very good sustainable solution that we can incorporate today. Yahya, you've got your hand up.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
So I was watching this video this morning, and it had there was this guy, and he put and he had this kind of a flywheel or something like that, and around where the ball bearings were had some kind of magnets, and these magnets were sandwiched in between these metal plates which had some kind of cores on it, and then it turned out that it made a current. So I was wondering maybe you could put that in the turbines and maybe just charge maybe you could charge the aircraft just once, and then after that one charge it could use the power from the first charge to power the turbines, and then the turbines can charge themselves.
So I think that's a very good idea. I've got a couple of points to go with that. So the best way to describe that to everybody else on the call is the ball bearings and the electromagnetics and the things that you were talking about, is pretend you've got your phone and you put your phone on a flat plate, or wireless charging. Have you guys seen wireless charging? When you put your phone on a little bit of a docking thing and it charges up, but you don't have to plug it in. So that's essentially what induction is, and that's electromagnetic induction, and that's I'd say what you were describing with in creating an inducting current. So there's no reason why, if you can do that with a battery on a phone, why couldn't you do that with a battery, a big battery for an aircraft? I just have a couple of points to go with that, safety points to go with that. So batteries at the moment, really good batteries are lithium batteries, lithium ion, so those types of materials. And the thing with batteries is that they're very, very volatile. They have charge and recharge cycles, and also around aircraft, having electromagnetics around aircroft is very dangerous. So because of all the electronic systems in the cockpit, so all the little switches and dials and things like that, having electromagnetics around an aircraft is actually quite dangerous related to safety, because it can turn random switches on and off and there's no control over that. So that would just be my only point with the electromagnetics. Otherwise, apart from that, I think it's a really good point. And I think in the future, as technology continues to evolve and regulations change, so at the moment, EMC or electromagnetics is not really allowed use, not really allowed for use around aircraft in terms of aircraft that have lots of external, like lots of stores, for example. So, but it's a really good point for consideration. Okay, Shahana Samia, you got your hand raised.
I got a few stuff, like two stuff to say. One is about the battery. Is the fuel a bit more heavier than the battery, or is the battery going to be more heavier than the fuel? Because we don't want it to be too heavy, so we can fly faster. And I like to hear the day with like the fuel stuff. We can like have, if the solar panels are not working, we can have backup fuel. And I think that should be, recently Qatar is using natural gases. We could use them as well.
Okay. Yeah, really, really good points. So the first point about fuel and batteries and which one weighs more, I would think that fuel weighs more. I just have to back that up. And also, something really interesting is that when you use the fuel up, the aircraft gets lighter. So your aircraft starts heavy, and then as it's flying, the aircraft gets lighter. But with a battery, the same thing happens, because even if it's just a minimal change, the weight of the aircraft changes. And also, it's very so the relationship between temperature and heat. So when something gets warm, so when your battery warms up, let's say because it's got current, the temperature will cause the battery to expand. Yeah, and that can be dangerous because it can overheat. So when your battery overheats, so that's the best way to describe that is when your phone overheats. When your phone overheats, it just turns off or it stops working or something like that. Have you guys ever had that with your phones?
Yeah.
Yeah. So those lithium batteries in your phones.
I don't have a phone.
Oh, that's good. Good parenting. So with your phones, your lithium-ion batteries can overheat and stop working, and obviously that'd be really, really dangerous in the air if we had lithium-ion batteries that overheat, expand, and then stop working. But it's just a safety consideration. It's something that we need to just think about. It's not that we can rule out the problem. It's just that we need to think of a way of sustaining and making that solution safe. And that's why I want to bring up the point about regulations. So within aerospace engineering, there's a lot of regulations out there, a lot of rules. Say you come up with an idea, you always have to go through the regulation authority to clear this aircraft, to know that this aircraft is safe, to do loads of tests and checks and qualifications on this aircraft. So with our idea of, having the solar panel and the batteries and all this stuff, when we create our design, and I'm not saying we do that now, but I'm just saying in the future, to create this design, we'd have to go through the regulations of, for example, the CAA, and they're called the Civil Aviation Authority, and they're like the kind of police of the aerospace world. Okay, yeah, you've got your hands raised up.
Sorry, I forgot it on.
Oh, don't worry. Mohammed Rahman.
Yeah, because we're going like a few hundred miles or even faster throughout the air, couldn't you realistically just put like a couple wind turbines or something similar to the sort, and then channel the wind for actual energy? Obviously, you're going to need some sort of energy to take off, but say you have your battery, then you're in the air. Like, how hybrid cars, when you brake, you recharge the battery.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's definitely a valid point, and this is what I want to bring to you guys, is that these are all the considerations for the future of future aircraft of the future, because fuel systems at the moment, putting petrol and kerosene in an aircraft is not a sustainable way of flying anymore. And so we've got loads of companies that are looking into all these solutions for sustainable flight in the future. And another thing as well is, you've got taxis, so you've got, people order taxis. In the future, there will be electric aircraft taxis, because companies are working on them now. So think about this, right? So think about the motorway, how you've got loads of lanes going here and there and things like that. They're proposing a solution to have a motorway in the sky. So different lanes, different things in the sky. So so instead of driving, you can fly. You order a taxi, an aircraft taxi. It comes to pick you up, and it goes to wherever you need to go. That's the sort of things they're proposing at the moment in the aerospace world. Okay, it's pretty cool, isn't it? And so the future is really up to you guys. It's really up to what you guys come up with. And one thing I'd say is to just keep learning, keep seeing what's out there and building on the solutions that are out there. So another thing is, so for example, did you know that Amazon use drones at the moment to drop off and deliver packages? They do that at the moment. So they're doing like a sort of trial. I think they've actually got it. I'm not sure if it's more widespread. I know that they do that. So they use drones to pick up and deliver packages. And actually very recently they had a first visit to space. When I say visit to space, I mean taking humans on trips to space. So you don't have to be an astronaut anymore. It's very, very, very expensive, obviously. But this is what the future of the aerospace world is now. It's things like this. And, there are a lot of arguments of, why should we look at space technology when there are people dying of hunger on Earth? There are lots of those types of arguments. And I think that's a very valid point, but it's also really good to think about the fact that once you continue exploring in space and you look at different things that are out there, you can bring that technology and those ideas back onto Earth. So an example is Teflon. Yeah, so Teflon is a material that are used in pans, non-stick pans. That technology came from space after going to space and researching that material. Sorry, I know. Sorry, Ismail, you've got your hands up. Sorry.
I have a question.
Go for it.
Wouldn't the battery affect the communications towards the tower and the pilots?
No. Battery wouldn't. What would affect communication to pilots and towers and things like that is the electronic systems. So whether the wires are connected properly in the right way and if all the connections are working. So that's what would affect communications. And also weather. Weather can affect communications as well. I know there's somebody in the chat that just said, can you ask my question for me? What was the question? Sorry, I missed it.
These questions have been asked throughout, Khadijah.
Sorry, I missed all the chat questions.
No, not today. It's been asked throughout the series and it's in the previous series as well. So okay. You might be offended. I think Jai's going to ask the question. Okay. Jai, do you want to ask the question?
He just said that he had to go somewhere just now and he just left.
Someone else asking on his behalf. Who's brave enough?
I'm scared.
Saw him.
It's Sahil, then Sahil, ask that question, please.
Oh, no. I'll ask the question. Do all clever people just wear glasses?
That's a really good question. I'm going to let you into a little bit of secret. I used to wear glasses. My eyes were really bad. I had -5 in both eyes. I had to wear contact lenses. And then I had laser eye surgery done very recently, actually. So I would say clever people do wear glasses. Sorry, Zara. But yeah, that's it from me. Ooh. I think if there's anything that I want you guys to take away from this session, it's that, by the way, I'm joking. Clever people don't always wear glasses. Yeah, don't worry.
I was going to ask Baisam, I call Baisam, his big brother, Muhammad Rahman, not to invite you again.
No. It's okay. I mean, I like, I hide my glasses as well,
Hey.
So, I'm sure you got one hiding as well somewhere.
Yeah, sunglasses. Yeah, Khadijah, I think you were saying something, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. So I think if there's anything that I want you guys to take away from this session, it's the fact that look into degree apprenticeships, look into apprenticeships when you go into college. Yeah, because let's be honest, not all of us can afford to go to university and pay the interest fees. So definitely look into this alternative. And also, there are companies that sponsor, and to go to university, you can also apply for scholarships. So if you're very, very clever, I mean, you get amazing A-level results and things, you can also get full scholarships. So yeah, definitely that's an alternative to going to university is apprenticeships. The next thing is in the future, depending on whatever you want to be, wherever you want to be in life, whether that's you want to be a teacher, whether that's you don't want to work, whatever it is, just make sure that you're always trying to learn something every day, whether that's 5 or 10 minutes, learn something new every single day, and it'll help you in the future. And I think, and also dream big. So, you guys are the future, and you can go change the world wherever you are, whether you want to go to Saudi, whether you want to go to Tokyo, whether you want to go wherever you want to go, you guys can change the world and you're the future. So, and please look into sustainable aircraft as well for us. So yeah, that's it from me.
No, mashallah, very inspiring. I think you mentioned motorways in airspace. That just mind blowing, honestly. I thought I heard it all. Thank you so much, Khadijah. I don't know if
what are they called?
I don't know, the A62, Air 62 might be called. I don't know. Maybe Khadijah and yourself can create it in the future. But Ali, I'm not sure if you missed it at the beginning. But not only is Khadijah part of a massive industry, BAE, she's also memorized the Quran. So Ali, I always say to you girls in the masjid, it's not that hard. We've got a living example right in front of us, someone who's memorized Quran, and she's in a big industry, met Boris Johnson. Who could say that? Who could say I've met Boris Johnson? So yeah, like Khadijah met.
I was meeting Boris Johnson though.
Sorry?
Yeah, was she was just asking how it was meeting Boris Johnson. So I was very nervous because obviously he's the Prime Minister, but you always have to think it's just another person. It's just another person, And when I met him, he was really, really funny. He was actually very nice. He was very nice, and he seemed really interested in what I had to say. And I was really nervous. Honestly, I was like shaking a little bit. At the end of the day, he's just a person. And so he asked me questions about kind of about my journey into engineering and a little bit about me. So yeah, it was really good experience. I showed him this thing called a smart workbench, and the smart workbench is basically helping technicians or people who are making aircraft to make them in a safer way and more accurately. So they have like an optical, when I was pointing up, they have like an optical projection system, and the lights are coming down onto this bench, and it helps maintainers and technicians drill in the right places, in the right holes. So the optical projection system changes depending on where they need to drill. So that's what I was showing him. But yeah, no, it's good. It's a good experience. Hopefully you guys will get experiences like that as well.
Someone else asked, I think Jai's gone, we mentioned the WhatsApp. Did you receive any hate as a Muslim engineer?
No, I've never. So they've always been welcoming, always been open, and always wanting to learn about me. So, it's really nice when, non-Muslim colleagues say Eid Mubarak, or they know when Eid is, or, things like that. It's really nice, isn't it? Because, we always, Eid changes all the time, isn't it? It's always different. So when they take that time to remember, it is really nice. And no, I've never received hate or anything like that. And in fact, because of the push to be more diverse and inclusive, they actually welcome differences. They actually welcome people who are different. And let's be honest, we are different. We are different. We look different. So they do welcome it, and they're very interested to know more. So yeah, alhamdulillah, no issues.
Last question, Jahid also asked, in aerospace engineering, did you look at a bird and how they fly?
Yes, we did. So, in fact, you'll find a lot of people do that. So the actual term for that is called biomimicry, okay? And that means you look at nature and you look at animals it's the study of looking at nature and animals to help you design aircraft or just real world solutions. So people will look at owls, for example, or different types of birds, and then try and make, they've actually, they've done little tests as well. So what they've done is they put little sensors in aircraft, in birds and things like that, and they map how the bird flies, where it flies. When it's looking for food, how does it fly in wind and things like that. So they definitely look at birds. The term is called biomimicry.
Okay. Anybody else got any more questions? No. I think we blasted Khadijah enough. No, thank you so much. I've been inspired, and I think the young people have been inspired. They've asked so many questions, and that's from a guy. Mashallah. Thank you so much for coming on. Baisab, to you.
Yeah, no, Jazakumullah. Truly, thank you, Khadijah, for making the time for us. We're really grateful to BAE. So it's the British Aerospace Engineering Systems, and I've got it now, so I've got to get it to my head before. Yeah, we're truly grateful to them for allowing to come and meet us in this session. We hope, inshallah, that Khadijah will come to the final event in person, Sunday 15th of August. So not confirmed, kind of 50-50, but have a good feeling after today's session. Khadijah will, inshallah, come to the final event. I just want to mention a few things. First of all, Khadijah she was actually offered a place at Imperial College London. That's one of the top universities, in the whole world. And she also got an offer at Liverpool University as well. That's part of this group. These are like the top universities. She actually turned them down in order to do this apprenticeship. Not only that, in terms of the awards there is in engineering, Khadijah has received all of them. So that alone makes Khadijah, a perfect role model. And along with the fact that we learned her that, she's learned the Quran by heart as well. SubhanAllah, it just makes her a perfect role model. And we need more role models like Khadijah in order to inspire, the Muslim youths of today. So on that basis, truly thank you very much for making the time for us.
I have one question. So after this talk, who's interested in studying aerospace engineering, or who would think about it in the future?
Me, inshallah.
Me.
Oh, that's really nice. Really nice to hear. Really nice to hear. I think that's why we all do these STEM talks. Is I bet before this talk, maybe you didn't know much about aerospace engineering, but you've come out knowing a little bit more. So that's why it's really nice to hear that you guys would be interested in studying. So, Sahel, you've got your hand up.
No, I was just gonna say Jazakallah khairan. You inspired me.
Ameen. And if there's any more talks like this, let me know. I'm happy to do this again. So yeah.
Sure.
Okay, I'm gonna go now.
On that note, I think we will end it for all of us. Jazakallah everyone, and inshallah our session tomorrow's the last session with Shafi Ali. It's computer aided design and 3D printing. So tomorrow's the last session. Inshallah we'll all meet up tomorrow. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Thank you very much.
Jazakallah khairan.
Jazakallah khairan. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.